Okay, hello students, welcome to the new lecture. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss about cytoplasm. Okay, so in this chapter, the cytoplasm is one of the most important things. So that we are going to discuss in this chapter. So first of all, what is meant by cytoplasm? Okay, cytoplasm is the fluid content of the cell and take up little stain. So what is meant by stain? Stain is nothing but color. Okay, so STAIN, stain is nothing but color. Okay, so it is nothing but color. Why we will color the cells? To see under the microscope better, we are going to use the color. Okay, and by the way, if you have any doubts or questions, use the comment section. That is nothing but the chat section, live chat section, so that I can answer to your questions or I can clear your doubts. Okay, so the fluid content of the cell and take up little stain when dye is used. Remember, dye is nothing but a color. Okay, so Shantaya, good afternoon. Okay, Pavitra. Okay, Pavitra, good afternoon. Okay, Pavitra, if you have any doubts or questions, you can ask me. Okay, so cytoplasm contains many cell organelles. So what is meant by cell organelle? In the last class, we have discussed that cell organelles are nothing but they are the tiny structures. So they are the tiny structures of the cell. Okay, they are responsible for the particular biological function. So these cells are going to do many important things. Okay, so many important things. They are very important for the biological functions. So what is, for example, can you name any some kinds of cells, cell organelles, any some cell organelle that you can say by looking at the diagram? So this is the diagram, just this is a plant cell. So this is a plant cell. In the plant cell, we can see many cell organelles. So these cell organelles are very important for the biological functions of the cell. So we can see many cell organelles like nucleus. Okay, here is the nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, like here the mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, chloroplast, cell wall, vacuole, etc. These all are the different types of the cell organelles. So these cell organelles are very important for the biological functions. So here we can see cytoplasm contains many cell organelles. Each and every cell organelle has a specific function. So what is the specific function? For example, if you see mitochondria, okay. So mitochondria, what is its importance? Mitochondria importance is to produce the ATP. So ATP is nothing but adenosine triphosphate. So this ATP is very important, and this ATP is useful for the function of the cell. So this is the reason we are going to call it as a energy currency of cell. What is energy currency of cell? ATP is the energy currency of cell. For example, if you want to purchase a book, okay, what you need? If you want to purchase a book, you need money. Okay, so that is Indian currency. So if the cell want to do some work, the cell has to invest some amount of energy in the form of ATP. Okay, and okay, Pavitra, good afternoon. And next is membrane. Okay, there are two types of the cells. Okay, the cell, we will discuss about the types of cells later, and before that we will discuss the cell organelles are of two types. What are the two types of the cell organelles? Cell organelles, okay, cell organelles are of two types. Okay, one is with membrane, okay, one is with membrane, another is with no membrane. Okay, so one is with the membrane and another is with no membrane. So if the cell doesn't have membrane, they are non-membrane bound organelles. So some cell organelles has a membrane and some cells do not have the membrane. So example for the membrane organelles, what are the organelles that have the membrane? Example, you can take the nucleus. Okay, so nucleus is the organelle, it has the membrane. Next, mitochondria. Okay, mitochondria. So next is chloroplast. So the chloroplast and etc. So if you see these all organelles, 1, 2, 3, we have taken the 3 examples. These organelles has a membrane around it. So they are known as membrane bound organelles. Okay. So good afternoon, White Caper Gamer. Okay, very good afternoon. Very good. So no membrane. So if the cell organelles do not have the membrane, they are known as non-membrane bound organelles. So see here, membrane bound organelles. So membrane bound means what? The membrane is present around the organelle, that is known as membrane bound organelle. So non-membrane bound organelles means these organelles do not have the membranes. So non means no membrane around the organelles, hence we can call them as non-membrane bound cell organelles. Okay. So in the cell, in a particular cell, whether it may be plant cell or animal cell, we can see all these type of organelles. Some cells will have the membrane around it, and some cell organelles have the membrane around it, and some cell organelles do not have membrane around it. Okay. If the cell organelle has a membrane around it, we can take the example nucleus, mitochondria, chloroplast, etc. Okay. And next, membrane that do not have in the cell organelles that do not have the membranes. Okay, the cell organelles that do not have the membranes, they are known as non-membrane bound organelles. Okay. Example for the non-membrane bound organelles, we can see ribosomes. Okay, we can see ribosomes. Ribosomes are non-membrane bound cell organelles. Okay, this is one example. And second example is centrioles. Okay, the centrioles and so on. These all are the organelles. These two are the examples for the membranes. These are the examples for the cell organelles that do not have membrane. Okay, that do not have membrane. So this is a typical plant cell. This plant cell is going to have all different types of cell organelles. Okay, so it has a vacuole, it has a nucleus, and it has ribosomes, so chloroplast, mitochondria, etc. These all are the different types of the cell organelles. Okay, and if you have any doubts, do not forget to ask in the live chat section so that I can answer to your questions or doubts. Okay. And ask your friends, your classmates, to come to the live so that they can also attend the class. Okay, ask them in the form of WhatsApp or what it may be. So next is the membrane bound cell organelles that we have discussed just now. These are the organelles that have the membrane around it. Okay, membrane around it, these cell organelles. Examples is nucleus, mitochondria, etc. These all are the organelles that have membrane around it. So remember one thing, membrane bound cell organelles means these cell organelles has a membrane around it. Okay. Non-membrane bound cell organelles means their membrane is absent or the no membrane. So no membrane is present. Okay, no membrane is present. So they are known as non-membrane bound nucleus, membrane bound organelles or non-membrane bound cell organelles. So example, just now we have seen the ribosomes is one example. We can take another examples like centrioles. So these are the non-membrane bound cell organelles. Okay. So next is the protoplasm versus cytoplasm. Protoplasm versus cytoplasm. What is meant by protoplasm and what is cytoplasm? That we will discuss just now. So protoplasm, it is nothing but it is a fluid. So it is a fluid present in the cell. In the olden days, the people thought that the cell has a fluid-like structure. Okay, the cell has a fluid-like structure, and this fluid-like structure is important for all functions. Okay, it is important for all functions, and it is involved in the cell division. But it is not true. So the protoplasm is not only involved in the all biological functions. Okay, and they thought that this fluid is a life fluid. This fluid is life fluid, but we came to know that the nucleus is the important cell organelle in the cell that is important for other functions. Okay, so as a result, we can say the protoplasm is nothing but a fluid which is present in the cell. The people used to think it is going to perform all biological functions. But we came to know that the nucleus is also important in the cell division. Okay, nucleus is also important in the cell division and differentiation into the cytoplasm and nucleoplasm. So here you can see the protoplasm. Okay, so protoplasm is differentiated into cytoplasm, and also nucleoplasm. Okay, so these are the two fluids. So what is meant by cytoplasm? Cytoplasm, just now we have discussed, cytoplasm is nothing but a fluid which is present in the cell. It is known as a cytoplasm. Okay. So remember one most important thing. The cytoplasm, let us consider this is a cell. Okay. The cell contains a nucleus. Okay. The fluid which is present between the nucleus and also cell membrane. The nucleus and cell membrane, this fluid is known as cytoplasm. So this is known as cytoplasm. So what is the nucleoplasm? The fluid which is present inside the nucleus. The fluid which is present inside the nucleus is known as nucleoplasm. Okay. Cytoplasm means the fluid which is present inside the fluid which is present between the nucleus and also cell membrane is known as cytoplasm. Nucleoplasm means the fluid which is present inside the nucleus is known as nucleoplasm. Okay. So both are fluid like substances. In the diagram, in the previous, just a few minutes ago, we have discussed that the cells are going to have the cytoplasm, and if you stain them, what they are going to show? They are going to have light dye. It means they will take little bit amount of stain. Okay. So they will take less stain. So if you see here in this diagram, other cell organelles like nucleus, this is the nucleus, and these tiny dots are cell organelles. Okay. And lightly stained structure is known as cytoplasm. It is known as cytoplasm. So what is cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is nothing but a fluid-like substance that is present between the nucleus and also cell membrane. It is known as a cytoplasm. Okay. And also nucleoplasm means the fluid-like substance which is present in the nucleus is known as nucleoplasm. Okay. The cytoplasm is going to take less amount of stain when the dye is applied or when the color is used. So now we will discuss about nucleoplasm. Just now we have discussed about cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is nothing but it is a fluid-like structure which is present between the nucleus and also cell membrane. Nucleoplasm means inside the nucleus, the fluid-like substance which is present inside the nucleus is known as nucleoplasm. So remember one most important thing, the nucleus is porous. Okay, let us consider this, the nucleus which is present inside the cell. This nucleus contains tiny holes. Okay, this nucleus contains tiny holes, already that we have discussed. These tiny holes are known as nuclear pores. Okay, these are known as nuclear pores. Okay, and inside the nucleus there is a structure. This structure is known as nucleolus. Okay, and around the nucleus there is a thread-like structure. This thread-like structure is known as DNA. It contains DNA. Okay, nucleus contains DNA, and also nucleus contains nucleolus. It also contains nucleolus. Okay, and also it is going to have a membrane. That membrane is known as nuclear membrane. Okay, so next is this nuclear membrane contains a small holes that is known as nuclear pores. Okay, nuclear pores are nothing but microscopic pores that is present around the nucleus. So here you can see around in the nuclear membrane. This is known as nuclear pores. Inside the nucleus there is a nucleoplasm. Okay, and that's about the lecture. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the live chat section. Okay, any doubts, if you have, you can ask me now, or questions you can ask me now. And remember one thing, and these notes you can be used to copy in the notes. Okay, you can copy these notes, and diagrams you can draw the normal diagrams. No need to draw perfect, very neat and perfect. So draw the diagram up to little bit good enough, and copy the notes in your notebook, so that you don't have to copy, you don't have to write some other thing. Okay, this notes is enough, and you can copy in your notebook. Okay, then the lecture is completed, and we will discuss the next topic tomorrow's in the tomorrow's class.